Why do you sometimes have no motivation, no drive anymore, and end up binging on all the things you swore to never do again? Even though you did all the healthy habits, you did the workouts, the cold showers, the running, the meditation, you studied for hours or worked on your business, and then suddenly it's like a switch is turned off. You just don't feel like it anymore, and it becomes super difficult to even just start a task. Why is that? And more importantly, why does it happen over and over again? I've been through this cycle myself many times, but I want to create a beautiful life, and that takes a lot of energy and focus and productive work. So wasting entire days or even weeks just binging away, destroying my brain and my body, just was too painful. I couldn't afford it anymore. And over the years, I learned that even healthy habits can destroy my motivation and my ability to build my life and stay productive. If I did them wrong, I learned that there was something I was missing completely. And my realization began when my roommate Ben, who was my best friend at the time, actually started looking like a real-life zombie. We lived in a small apartment in Berlin, Germany. Ben was really getting after it at the time, studying hard for university, working hard to get some money, working out in the gym almost every day. He even meditated with me, journaled daily, he ate healthy, socialized. He was really going for it. And it was fun seeing him grow in all these ways. And I was proud of him actually. And I was looking forward to see him go places. But then things started to change. One day when we were just talking, I noticed that he was scratching his arm like a lot. I asked him about it and he showed me this red spot in the crook of his arm. But we didn't think much of it at the time. Problem was, it only got worse from there, and fast. In a short amount of time it spread from his arms to his hands, chest, neck and even his face. The doctors gave him creams, but it didn't help at all. Also his mood and energy started to change. Suddenly he seemed to have no motivation anymore. Our workouts became fewer and I saw more and more junk food pile up in our fridge. When before we would only sometimes play some video games or watch a movie together to relax in the evening, he started doing it more and more. Sometimes even spending the entire day just playing video games. Dark circles started to form under his eyes. Also he turned really pale because he stopped going out, and combined with his skin infection, he actually looked so bad that he could have played a zombie in The Walking Dead with very little extra makeup. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. He looked really bad, and that change took a few months, but with ups and downs. But the trajectory he was on was very clear, especially looking back now. And I actually got very worried about him, and it was sad to see him like this all of a sudden, like completely changed. And I wasn't the only one. One day his parents visited us. Their eyes opened wide with shock when they saw him. And they became even more worried when he told them that the doctors didn't know what to do anymore. So right then and there they came up with a plan. His parents were about to go on a vacation trip to the Alps, hiking and climbing mountains. In fact, they visited us just before they were leaving to say goodbye. So the idea was very straightforward. They would take them with them right then and there, and they just hoped that the fresh air and the sunlight would at least do him some good. He would have preferred to just play some video games, but there was no getting out of this for him. His parents were adamant about it. And off he went for 2 weeks. And I was curious about what would happen, if it would actually help him. But I was not expecting anything like that when I opened the door the day he came back. What? He looked like he actually discovered the antidote to the zombie virus in the mountains. His skin had healed up completely, and even better, he had the spark back in his eyes again. The way he talked was different. He was full of energy and motivation again. And he told me what they did. And basically it sounded like torture, climbing up and down mountains every single day. He talked about how his feet and back hurt almost every day. It sounded exhausting. Almost bad actually. But still, he looked so much better. I thought, how could he have regained so much energy by putting himself through torture? I'm exaggerating with the torture part for dramatic purposes, but he certainly did not relax at the beach all day. He was marching up and down and climbing mountains in the blistering sun for hours every day. It reminded me of these people who seem to be like Ubermenschen, like David Goggins or Cameron Haynes.
22! Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs?
They seem to have an unlimited amount of willpower and energy and motivation to draw upon and push themselves harder than anybody else and still look energetic while doing it. So how do they do it? And if you want to build your life and have limitless energy and motivation, how can you do it too? Turns out that either by accident or knowingly, they do one thing better than anybody else, and that is recovery. It's a simple equation. They learned how to deeply recover, and the better you recover, the more energy you have, which you can then use for going hard again next day with motivation and zest. That's a big part where those guys get their sheer endless willpower from. They don't just conjure it up out of thin air. But even though this equation is simple, it took me a while to get the balance right, and I'm still practicing. So it is simple, but not easy. Because for years I thought recovery equals relaxation, but turns out that's wrong. I thought if I push myself really hard during the day, I deserve to relax in the evening. And while the principle was correct, my execution destroyed my energy and motivation. It didn't seem to make any sense at all, until I found out about active recovery. Active recovery feels very different from just vegging out in front of a screen to relax, and it recharges your energy much better. So you can push yourself as hard as you can, consistently. The main difference with active recovery and relaxing is that with relaxing, we think of just zoning out, of just passively consuming stimulation. But I found out with active recovery, I stay engaged and not just passively zone out. It feels like a little bit of effort in the beginning, like you have to get over this hump. But then while you do it, you start getting this energized feeling, or maybe sometimes afterwards. And that feeling is what you're going for. For example, if I had a long day and I just play some video games in the evening to wind down, I don't really feel energized afterwards. I may even feel a bit antsy and I can't get to sleep because of all this stimulation, which then wrecks my sleep, which hinders my ability to recover even more. But with active recovery, I may go on a hike or go on a walk outside, just take in the scenery, take in some nature. In the beginning it feels like I have to make myself go out there, because I actually just want to slump down on the couch. But during or after the walk, I feel much calmer and maybe even slightly energized already. Try out some version of active recovery that I will show you, and you will discover that actually feeling relaxed and refreshed feels very different from an entire evening of binging your favorite series. You can still veg out, feel free to do that, but balance it with active recovery and you will feel a massive difference very quickly. Alright, so if you want to understand active recovery, you have to master 3 main components of it. First, the what. You need to know what activities are most likely to put you into active recovery. Second, you need to control how you think about these activities, the mindset about it. And lastly, you need to find your personal balance between active recovery and stress. Okay, first I'm just going to give you a simple list of the best activities. You can take a screenshot if you want to. The best activities are breath work, like Wim Hof or box breathing, hiking, spending time in nature, working out, not extremely pushing yourself, but just moderately, ice baths and sauna, stretching, meditation, and obviously sleep. The mindset while doing it is the next important factor. Do not do what I did for a long time. There were phases where I thought along the lines of, I'm so far behind in life, I need to make up for it, and just hustle as hard as I can, no time off, which just made me crash really hard every time. So I started to incorporate some downtime, but it felt more like a duty, something I have to do, or something I had to get through. Or even worse, when I actually wanted to play some video games with friends, I felt guilty the entire time I was doing it. So that doesn't really sound relaxing or refreshing, does it? So be aware of your mindset while you're doing it. It will make it 100 times more effective. Ryan Doris from the Flow Research Collective describes it like this. You want to get this 2-week vacation feeling. So when you hike in nature like my friend did, or you work out, or you get into the cold shower, don't stress out about it. Don't just push through it. Enjoy the ride, like you're on vacation and taking it all in.
Like everybody knows, it's 24 hours in a day. But when I'm in the shower, it's a mental aid station. I don't think about shit. I don't fucking think about people. I don't think about work. I don't think about running. I don't think about working out.
Experiment with looking at it more like you get to do it. Recently, for example, I had a small emergency where I needed to bring someone something very fast. But we were in the middle of nowhere at the time and I had no car available. So The best thing I could do was to just jog over rough terrain at night. And I could have been just stressed out about all of it and angry that my night was so stressful. But instead I only pushed myself a little bit, even with a few seconds of walking here and there, to recover my breath and also to take in the tranquility of the night and nature around me. It only was a small emergency, so I was able to do it, so nothing dramatic. It just had to get done then and there. I even had some time to deliberately conjure up this feeling of being free on vacation. And after the run I felt better and even more relaxed than before. And I slept like a baby that night. So when you do active recovery and you do workouts or cold showers, don't push yourself super hard. There are times when during a workout you push yourself as far as you can until failure. But for active recovery, that's not the time. There you only push yourself a little bit, like a tiny bit. Take a breather every now and then and take in the moment. Be present and take in life. Appreciate the fact that you are out here doing things, that you are moving forward in life on your own personal journey. Understanding that even if you are not yet where you want to be in life, you have the ability to change something about it, to do something. And during active recovery, don't think about work, don't think about people, about what you have to do or anything that stresses you out. Learn to appreciate life and conjure up this feeling of freedom and relaxed joy of being on vacation. If you do that, you will really recharge your batteries. And how often should you do it? Well, the obvious rule of thumb is the more energy you expend, the more you need to recover. But aim for 1 to 2 active recovery activities every single day. And Ryan Doris recommends 1 full day every week that you dedicate to as much active recovery as you can fit in there. Personally, I usually do some hiking, stretching, light workout, some breath work, meditating, and just spend time with good people. So I hope you now have a better idea of what healthy habits really look and feel like and how to balance them. And if you want to know one of my easiest tricks to structure my day and get things done, then check out this video right here.